To us right here at Kenya's Gold. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana bingwa, naomba sana nikupe nafasi hii kwa mtu ambaye anakutazama mara ya kwanza kabisa, ujitambulishe kwa kutuambia jina lako na shughuli ambayo unaifanya hasa katika sekta ya ukulima. Karibu sana.
Asante Bwana Terer, asante Gina. My name is Dr. Felix Kibegwa. I'm a lecturer at the University of Nairobi, Department of Animal Production. I'm a vet by training, and I've also done my postgraduate work in terms of animal genetics and breeding, both at master's and PhD level. Okay. So mimi ni afisa wa in terms of lecturing. That's what I do. I teach both vet and agriculture students.
Right.
Yes.
Given that you are a lecturer at the University of Nairobi, we'd like to hear from you. What are the statistics looking like? Are we seeing more young people interested in matters agriculture? Are they signing up to these courses? What does it look like as of now?
Interestingly, yes. Over the past few years, there has been an increase in terms of the students joining both in agriculture and vets professions, which is something that is really interesting. And apart from that, I also am involved in terms of the quality standards when it comes to the AHITI, Animal Health Training Industry Institutes. And we can see the number of individuals joining in these particular areas is also increasing. So again, a positive and really looking positive in terms of the agricultural sector.
Does it gender vary? Are we having more males, more females, or it's equal?
More females.
More females.
Yes.
Good stuff.
So utafurahi sana. Sikiza bingwa, kuna jambo ambalo limefurahisha sana. Umesoma ukafika kiwango cha, umetoka uzamili, masters ukakwenda uzamifu, PhD. Lakini kipi ambacho kinakusukuma sana uamue nitasoma hii? Ni sekta gani inakufurahisha namna gani?
I think it's a personal story. Growing up, my father had cows. And nilikuwa naona vile anasumbuka, especially when it came to issues to do with health of these animals. Hiyo ilinisukuma sana. And somehow I got a chance to learn this in the university. And I got to learn that vets and animal health is not about injecting an animal. It is so much wider. And that is the reason why ilinifurahisha niendelea kusoma na kufuatilia hii maneno kuhusu animals and all that.
Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
Great. Great. So now moving on to the agenda of the day. Before we took a break, we had mentioned about, we have read in different spaces. You know, now everyone is trying to get information about agriculture, and there's a lot to read, and we need experts like you to help us demystify what is true, what is not. So we've learned that the Romney Marsh has a high percentage of giving birth to twins or even triplets. How true is that fact if you compare it to other breeds of sheep?
I'll say not so true. It's all about selection. In animal breeding, there is what we call selection. So you choose a particular quality that you want, and then you follow it up. So for example, if you've seen in your herd, you have 10 sheep, and 2 of them have constantly given you twins. So you tend to select those, so that now those are the ones that you use as the breeding stock for the next generation. Now, once you do that for quite a while, then you get a higher percentage of your herd giving you twins. So it is not really a fact, but it's all about how you are handling your breeding practices that is going to get you there.
Okay.
Yes.
Hapo kwa hilo swali kuna watu ambao wanavalia miwani, maniseme kufanya assumption kwamba inbreeding si lazima tuangalie historia yake kurudi nyuma, na unapata kwamba wanakosea namna tunataka kupata mapacha. Tufanyaje tukwepe ama kuavoid assumption ya kwamba inbreeding inaweza endelea katika boma langu?
Before even we go to how we can prevent this, inbreeding ni jambo mbaya. Tuanzie hapo. Okay. Essentially when we talk about inbreeding, ni wakati baba mwenye ni the back is mating with a very close relative, seme the daughters or a son mating with the mother. So the reason why it's bad, at the end of the day, it brings out the negative traits that we do not want. So utapata, the young ones have congenital malformations, they are not growing as they should, and such things, which are not really good in terms of productivity. So when it comes to avoiding this, then recording becomes very important. Nakumbuka kwa kipindi ambacho umeaka, the foreman was saying how important records are. And currently, you know, we are in the age of technology. And dhani kwamba most of the farmers actually are digitally enabled. So there are very easy software in which we can be able to use to do recording. So whenever your sheep imepandwa, unaandika huyu alipandwa na nani na huyu alipandwa na nani. And with that, then you can easily be able to trace. Mkulima yoyote ambaye anataka kufanya hili jambo kama biashara, they have no option other than to do proper recording. Otherwise, you will end up with a very big problem in your farm. Kama haujaweka good records.
Now, Dr. Felix, we've talked on this show several times on why it's not good to do inbreeding, and you have expounded on it very nicely right now. But still, it's something that is still happening in different farms. From where you sit, is it because the awareness is not yet fully out there? Is it sometimes people do ignore? Why do we still have these cases of inbreeding despite the fact that a vet, a professional, has made it very clear that it's not good to do that?
Sometimes it's all about the genetic stock that we have. So for example, if in a community, then we are sharing these 5 rams, that is the only genetic material that we have. So it forces these individuals to use whatever they have. However, as I had said, if we do a proper breeding program, for example, in a community where we have around 200 sheep, nakumbuka one of your earlier programs, you had been told that 1 ram can be able to serve 45 to 50 ewes. So if we have that, we can be able to breed in such a way that we have a rotational kind of system. Wakati huyu ram anatumika mahali for some time, and then we move them to another place. Remember, these sheep will not be perpetually in the farm. Kuna wale wataondolewa. So by the time you're finishing this rotation, za hizi rams, by the time this ram is coming back to where it was, our wenye walikuwa hapo watakuwa wameuzwa. You see, and again, going back to the issue of records, if we are able to do that, and having that proper system, then we can be able to avoid that. Another thing, as you had said, it's just ignorance.
Right.
So people just don't want to get the proper information as it is. But again, I'm happy we are doing it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Inafurahisha kwamba kwanza katika mazungumzo yako mara 2 umetaja kuhusiana na kipindi cha Kenya's Gold, kumaanisha wewe ni shabiki mkubwa sana.
Kabisa.
Sasa tuje kwa swala ambalo nilizungumza na yule mkulima. Kuna swala nilikwepa kumuuliza kwa sababu hakuwa mtaalamu wa daktari. Percentage, ukiangalia 100% ya kuzuia, ameweka plastiki katika sehemu yake ya siri kuzuia inbreeding. Ile 100% ya kuhakikisha kwamba inbreeding haifanyiki kwa kuweka plastiki, ni kweli itafikia ama itafeli?
Hiyo plastiki does a very high percentage. It can do up to 90%. But the best way is just to avoid and put these two apart. So when you're doing your herding, then put all the males away from the females. And wherever you want to do this, when unataka zikuje sasa pamoja to join them, then you select which of these animals, which of these males is going to go somewhere. So herding them together really increases the risk, however small it is, but it's there. So just separate them.
All right, now, when you're talking to different people about sheep, most of the time watakwambia dopa. Dopa is very common when people are talking about sheep. Hata kwa ule mtu ambaye alianza kufuga sheep, atakwambia najua kuna hii inaitwa dopa iko na kichwa ya white, black, you know. So when we are talking about Romney Marsh as a breed of sheep, is it a worth venture for a young person to get into? Because already there's been a lot of sensitization on dopa. It's a good breed, it grows fast, the meat goes and you'll get money. And then now there's this particular breed that we're talking about right now on the show, and a young person who probably was more focused on the dopa is wondering, if I get into this, is it a good business idea. What do you advise someone who's now thinking about, should I get into Romney Marsh? Should I stick with my DOPA? Should I go Red Masai? What would you say about that?
Now, it all depends about the objectives of what you want to achieve at the end of the day. When you talk about the DOPA ship, in terms of the carcass characteristics, the amount of meat you're getting will be slightly higher compared to the Romney Marsh. But again, as we had said at the beginning, because of the selection that had been done and is constantly being done in the Romney Marsh, then you get more and more offsprings. So if you're doing breeding in terms of selling the offsprings to get money, then you are better going with the Romney Marsh. But if you're going for the amount of meat, then again, you have the other breeds to consider.
Please take that again, if you're...
So it all depends about with the objectives of the farm. So unaweza ukakuwa unataka the farm to be selling meat, to be selling the mutton. So if you're looking at that, then you go for breeds that amass more weight. For example, the DOPA.
DOPA, all right.
But if you're going for breeding and getting more offsprings that you're going to sell, then you go for the Romney Marsh.
Right.
Again, there are issues to do with climates that you need to consider, where you need to situate your farm.
Sawa.
Yes.
Wakati tunazungumza na yule bingwa anaitwa Malel Kosgei, akasema kwamba anatumia mbinu ambayo ukiangalia kutambua mimba imepitwa na wakati, sio? Je, kwako kama mtaalam, unadhani ile njia tunatumia kutambua mimba ya kondoo imepitwa na wakati?
Kabisa. That one I totally agree with you. Lakini there are several things to consider. So uwezo wa mkulima unafika wapi? So you're dealing with a high-end farmer who has 1,000 sheep. Kuna vitu anaweza kafanya. Kuna ule mkulima mdogo, pia yeye kuna zile vitu zenye anaweza kafanya. However, as we move forward, then tunafikiria these technologies will become available, especially to the smallholder farmers, na wanaweza wakazitumia at the end of the day.
Great. Such a fantastic conversation that we are having right here with Dr. Felix on all matters animal health, specifically this particular breed that we are focusing on, which is the Romney Marsh. Now, one of the government initiatives this year, something that has caused a lot of uproar on social media and to different farmers, is the plan to vaccinate about 22 million cattle and 50 million goats and sheep that we are talking about. As an animal health specialist, we'd like to get your opinions on the same and what we can do to make sure that this process is effective and works for the benefit of the farmers. That and more will be answered when we come back from this short commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Saa 12 dakika 41 Afrika Mashariki. Mpenzi mtazamaji, asante sana kwa kukubali kujiunga nasi kipindi kilicho hewani. Bila shaka ni kipindi cha Kenya's Gold, kipindi ambacho kinakufunza mengi kabisa kuhusiana na ukulima. Kwako ni kusalia nasi, kuandika karatasi, baadaye ukwenda utekeleze kule. Kabla tukwende mapumzikoni, tumezungumza sana kuhusiana na teknolojia ambazo tunatumia zimepitwa na wakati, lakini kuna swala yule mkulima alitaja kuhusu kule kutenga kwa kondoo kwa kando, kwa sababu labda shiki mimba akikwenda kule kuzaa na avya, lakini sasa utagundua kwamba wanapeleka kwa bucheri. Tutachunga namna gani? Ni control aina gani ambayo tunahitaji asije akauza kwa mkulima mwingine? Aendeleze breeding actually.
Kwangu it's all about the buyer. So I'll say sometimes we do telephone agriculture. Iyo haiwezi kafanyika. So you find you're in Nairobi na unataka kununua mbuzi ziko Kajiado. So unapigia mwenye anakuuzia alafu anakuletea. You can't work like that. The thing is, for you to succeed in any agricultural venture, lazima uone, ushike na usikie vile mifugo wako. It is not all about the records, it's all about you seeing. Ukienda pale upate huyu ni mama ya huyu na huyu ni mama ya huyu. Huyu mwingine hajawahi kuzaa. Like you can't trace her lineage. Na huyo ndio unataka kuuziwa. Definitely you will not accept. So it is all about doing your due diligence. Kama mwenye ananunua. So the seller might have their own motivation to cull the animals and to sell. And some of them are very fraudulent. So wewe kama mwenye ananunua, take your time. Fanya jitihada zako, enda kwa shamba, ona wanyama, na ukishaona hao wanyama, then you will be able to choose. Kuna kitu tunasema in animal breeding. Tunasema the records tell you what the animal should be, but the animal will tell you what it is. So lazima umuone mnyama mwenyewe kabla ya kuchagua na kumchukua.
So we've learned a new word on the show. Telephone agriculture is a no-no.
Yeah.
We should stop doing telephone agriculture.
Nasema soko ni chafu.
Ni mbaya. Daily ni mbaya imefunguliwa.
All right, now, you know, there's someone who's listening to this show and is a young person, and they have like their day job, which they go to and do like an office job or whatever it is that they're doing, and they want to do agriculture on the side. And here they're listening to you saying, lazima ukue very present. Sasa mtu ataogopa, hii agriculture nitaweza kuifanya on the side. Can you balance it? Is it doable?
Yes, you can.
All right.
And I'm sorry to equate this, ni kama parenting. You see, you cannot sublet. Unaona, ama wakati unafanya mjengo, you will find time.
Okay.
Upite hapo uone kama fundi alimwaga maji, even if it's once a month. Lakini hauwezi ukakaa, wewe uko tu, and then your farm is going on. You see, there are several things that can happen that need you to be there.
Great.
So lazima ukue hapo.
All right. Now, continuing with our conversation on vaccination, very sensitive topic to all our farmers right now across the country following the government's initiative. And we want to hear your opinions as an animal health specialist. What do you think about this initiative? And do you feel the concerns that some of our farmers do have are actually valid in this season?
Exactly. So vaccination is a good practice. And that is the baseline tuanzie hapo. Both in human and animals, vaccination is done just to avoid all these unnecessary diseases and the costs that come after in terms of treatment. Lakini for this one, there are several concerns that have been raised. And actually most of them are legitimate. For example, the first thing that we do as vets when it comes to mass vaccination, and previously we've done this and it has been successful. Kitu jambo la kwanza, it's called sensitization. So you do not start with the announcement of the vaccination first. You start with community sensitization. Enda ambia mkulima, ninataka kukuja kuchanja ng'ombe yako na ninachanja ugonjwa fulani na hii vaccine inatoka mahali fulani na fulani ndio watakuja kuchanja. So once you do that, then you get the buy-in from the animal owners. Remember, the animals are privately owned.
Right.
So once the farmers get the buy-in, then kutoka hapo, the vaccination can go on. So I think, in my opinion, we need to take a step back, do a few of these background things that we need to do, and then the vaccination will go on swiftly as it's supposed to be. Otherwise, tusipofanya again hiyo vaccination, we will have a lot of problems.
Right.
Diseases are always endemic. Ziko tu zinangojea kulipuka. So wherever we are not preventing, then we are actually causing a crisis. So again, vaccination is good, but the process.
So we jumped the gun. We made the announcement before talking to even the owners of these animals and sensitizing them further.
Yes.
Great. We will definitely continue with that conversation on vaccination very soon on this show because we are far from done. But for now, let us have a conversation with our farmers because right here at Kenya's Gold, we're very keen on making sure that our farmers are growing in whichever agri-sector that you are in. For example, if you're a sheep farmer and you want to grow from 1 sheep to 50 sheep to 1,000 sheep, one of the solutions that we are giving you right here at Kenya's Gold is number 1, make sure that you are part of a cooperative society. Join hands with other farmers because when you are in a cooperative society, you do stand a higher chance of getting financial support from various financial institutions like the cooperative bank. Also in there, you are guaranteed a market for your produce during the selling season or even the harvest season if it's crops, and also you are guaranteed professional training from different experts like our guest who we do have in studio today. So you as a farmer, usijifanyie vitu peke yako, ungana na wakulima wengine, and remember, it only takes about 10 members to form a cooperative society. Another solution that we are giving you right here on the show is make sure that you are taking advantage of the various credit solutions that are offered by the cooperative bank. Now, just for instance, if you want to grow your farm, improve the technology and the machinery in your farm, take advantage of asset financing, which is a loan that is offered by the cooperative bank to farmers to enable you improve machinery in your farm. So dear farmer, take advantage of the credit solutions from the cooperative bank, and at the same time, make sure that you are part of a cooperative society.
Bila shaka kipindi hiki cha Kenya's Gold kinapewa udhamini mkubwa kabisa na benki ya Cooperative. Kwako ni kujitwika jukumu hilo na kuingia katika benki ya Cooperative. Swali nadhani la mwisho tukikamilisha hii, nipate access ya good genetics, nifanyeje?
It's all about you finding out. There's a lot of information out here. Again, I've heard you talking about cooperatives. Join groups, get to talk to other farmers, get to learn their experiences. Some of these things hazijaandikwa kwa kitabu. Some farmers have gone through them, they've learned them. So talk to them, they will be able to guide you accordingly. Na ukishajua hivyo, then you can get appropriate genes as required.
For a farmer who decides to go the direction of Romney Marsh for wool, is it a lucrative business to get into here in Kenya?
There is a lot of issues to do with the pricing, but in terms of market, then the market is there. The issue might be the fluctuations in terms of the price itself.
What leads to that fluctuation?
Sometimes there is a lot, sometimes there is less. So there is that constant fluctuation in terms of the cost and the price of the wool.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Felix Kibekwa, who is a lecturer at the University of Nairobi and also an animal production specialist, for being very generous with your time and your knowledge as well right here on the show. And like we always do it, we always wind up the show with a farm joke question of the day. After a very serious conversation like that, it's very important to wind down with something nice and easy. And the question that we were asking today is, what outfit does a tea brewer wear to work? Dr. Felix, you got this.
Hey.
You got this. What outfit does a tea brewer wear to work? I'll give you. You're almost there.
Okay, teacup. I don't know.
One more clue, Tered, one more clue. So it's something that one of us here on this set has right now. One of us has it on the set. Okay, Terer has it. I'm about to give you the answer. So how do we spell this T-shirt?
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
How do you spell it? Spell for me, Dr. Felix.
T and then shirt. Oh.
T.
Hyphen.
Spell it. Spell it. T.
H-I-R.
Yeah. Okay.
But
There you go. Look at the answer. It's a T-shirt.
okay. Umeshinda.
You get it? You get it? I gave you clues. I told you, Teren, you've even worn it, man. All right, it's a T-shirt.
Na asante sana mtazamaji, umetufuatilia kwa lugha ya Kiswahili. T-shirt tunaita shati tao. Naamini umefahamu hilo. Kwako mtazamaji ni kuendeleza shughuli. Tunafika hatima ya kipindi chetu siku ya leo. Salia na Mwenyezi Mungu, kumbuka tutafaulu sana. Tutatimiza ndoto. Jina langu ni Emmanuel Terer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Felix, for being with us today. Thank you so much, our audience, for joining with us from the beginning to the end of the show. And of course, our farmers who made this episode possible. We'll see you again tomorrow. Of course, we will be going back to Garissa County. Terer, Mafiante?
Inaitwa Mafiante.
Mafiante. See you tomorrow with a lot more when it comes to dairy farming in Camels. My name is Violetta Ngina. Good night.